I still can't get over that black eye every time we see Scott on the screen. He's a super nice guy, and when I heard he had a black eye, I thought there's no way he's been in anything other, and it was just an accident. But anyway, we are underway. It's Andy Appleton with the first break, and it is going to be dry, so it will be Scott and Matt with the first opportunity.
And first look, it's a nice open split. Probably looking at reds. I think the tough shot is the first one, whereby this is so far in the pocket it's hard to control the cue ball, but you want to be. So he's hit thin, left the thin cut on the middle, but again the cue ball's going to be racing. Part of me would have been considering like jacking the cue up a little bit and trying to bring the cue ball down the side rail to be on the one down the rail. Then that would have been my preference, but they've just made sure they're on the right colour set.
Slight issue with the right colour set is that, well, that's changed things a little bit, but in taking the one over the top left, it made yellows a pretty good colour set as well.
Yeah, and as you touched on earlier, if you decide to go, you've got to get them, otherwise you definitely become second favourite in most frames.
Extension, please.
And this is where this pairing of Scott and Matt have got to decide, do they pull back and sort of take control of the frame and maybe cover the pocket where the 8-ball is?
I think it's definitely got to be time to pull back. They can pop from here, but it's not the one they want to, and it's going away from what they want to do, so it is a safety shot. And not the best of safety shots, in all honesty, but I think they were trying to get the yellow underneath those two reds to tie the yellow up. There may be some temptation here for Gary to take the yellow to right centre. As tough a shot as that is, it might feel like frame ball.
Yeah, especially if he can get this and the cue ball doesn't hide behind the red. It's a tough shot. But where that red's gone at the top end of the table, it does make it tricky to get position on, to connect up. But they do all have a pocket. Maybe play this into the bottom right and drift over to the left middle. See, he's not quite got position on it. And the tough thing here with potentially leaving the two that are closest to the rail as your last balls as the connector for the 8-ball.
That's what they're going to have to do now, though.
And it looks like the angle that Scott's got here is he's going to be trying to play position on the one that's closest to the yellow, but the angle that we'll leave was likely to be going away.
Well, he's not going to see it at all. Trying to hold. Ended up snookering himself completely, so this frame has gone from bad to worse for these two. Not the start they were looking for.
It's a good hit. Just wondering if that...
Yellow is on to right centre. In an ideal world, this would be the yellow you'd want to connect to the 8-ball, but it's their starter. It's still a very good chance to get this opening frame on the board.
Yeah, they've just got to decide at what point they track down the table. Do they leave that as a last ball?
It's not a terrible last ball, is it, if you land middle of the table, because you've got the natural angle to drift on and off bottom cushion onto the 8-ball.
And they've tried to bring it off, and that's sometimes, which I'm not a huge fan of, especially on these tables, if it naturally goes down the rail, play position.
Especially in that situation where there was balls to be on naturally off the rail, so you didn't have to do anything with the cue ball. Certainly made things worse, so much so they're going to pull back. They still retain control of the table.
Yeah, it's a nice safety shot. Doesn't look like the red will go in the middle off the yellow. But if they can get a solid hit on it, and leave the cue ball glued on the red, they don't really leave a yellow.
Yeah, it's made a mess of the yellows. They'll be happy with that.
As we see, there's plenty of life left in this frame, and we're already over 5 minutes into the match.
This is exactly what you called it before we got out there for the match. You said you could see it going this way.
They call me Mystic Mouse nowadays.
As messy as it's got, and you can make the case that Andy and Gary should have cleared up previous visit, they're still in control of the frame. They still have the numbers advantage. So they should still feel like they're controlling what's happening out there.
Yeah, for sure, and that's another clever shot. But again, there's a good loss of turn here. If you can hit the cue ball in between the two yellows, plant the red and the yellow into the middle pocket and leave the cue ball there, the reds are all of a sudden on. And you don't leave a yellow. That's a good shot as well.
That's a very good shot. The red goes and does work at the bottom. He's done well not to go in off. This frame is very much in the balance now.
And this is where we come to a game of chess of who wants to dangle the carrot and force the opponent to go first.
I'd be tempted to pot this in the centre pocket and come down and then look for that loss of turn and hide at the same time. It's just overhit the shot. It's not really. If he pulls up a foot short of there, then you can play the loss of turn and look to get a snooker at the same time.
And he doesn't really want to be moving the yellow that's by the red. So does he come off the side rail and hit the yellow? But you could inadvertently develop it. You got to make sure you don't foul. You need to hit a cushion after contact. You could see it.
Over 7 minutes played. 7 of the 20 have gone, and this frame is still got plenty of mileage left in it.
How attacking do you want to be? Do you want to do the showboat and clip the red in up and down with the cue ball and develop it?
What's the alternative? Off the left cushion into the red, try and get the cue ball to hit the bottom cushion, or the red to hit the bottom cushion? Anything but that.
I don't think. I agree, but it's not the end of the world. They're going to play a loss of turn and but they've got to make sure they get the snooker on the 8-ball.
But they'll leave an easy up and down, so they know they're going to give the easy contact on the 8-ball, and that's an easy contact with it sending it towards the bottom right corner pocket. This is dangerous. That's why they played it in that way. That's very, very good, as long as he can't see it clean. He had to cover that top cushion.
It's clever, they're thinking clearly.
Don't think he's left the double. I think the edge of the 8-ball's available. I don't think he can see it full enough to make the double.
Is it a thin back double into the corner and just try and make a mess with the 8-ball into the bottom left?
Oh, just trying to get the 8-ball in the mix. That's containing things nicely.
It's another clever shot because they've just got to be careful that they don't leave the double, so they're going to be trying to clip the cue ball and send it back round the table. Don't accidentally pot the yellow. So that's
a poor shot. He's left the double. He's left a shot on. He didn't want anything but leaving a shot on. Okay, he's still making yellow's favourite here, but he's given away an opportunity. It's all or nothing, though, isn't it?
It is, but if you'd have said to me, sitting on the chair, you're going to have a shot at a cross double on the 8-ball from where they were, I'd have said, yes, please.
It's pretty close. In it goes. Scott Yardley saw that one nicely enough, and in it flies. And it was a slight tactical mistake that from Andy Appleton, just to leave that shot on. Oh, what an opening frame we've just seen.
Unbelievable. And as we said, the majority of the match clock has gone already on that one frame, and all of a sudden this singles frame here is huge for the Cookie Monster.
It's amazing how the dynamic goes as well, because for the whole way through that tactical exchange, you just felt that Scott and Matt were behind and they were struggling and they were just eventually going to lose it. And now Andy and Gary will feel so much worse for that, whereas if Scott and Matt just cleared up off the break, you feel, okay, well, that happens.
And they followed up with a good break, and all the Reds have got a pocket. Fully expect someone of Matt's caliber to get this finish. And for any up-and-coming players watching that first frame, I think the biggest thing you can take from it is, even though you're behind, always fight to stay in the frame and just make a mess.
Yeah, don't give anything away. You know, they played a really clever shot to get the 8-ball in the mix, didn't they? Rather than trying to find the miracle 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 shot, running the ball around the table or kicking into it, they just got the 8-ball in the mix, and they got another opportunity off the back of it.
Yeah, and like you say, doing that over a course of a season, yeah, you're not going to win every frame, but you will steal frames and as a result, steal matches.
It might be the frame that wins a match. It certainly has turned this match on its head, because if Matt can put a break clearance on the back of it, it'll be 2-0 with, 7 minutes left on the clock. And he's got a very good chance to make the break clearance. This is as good as it gets, really.
Yeah, he's got nice close cue ball control here. The red does just pass to the bottom left, and it's just as he forcing himself to leave the plant.
And you'll see that, you just saw Scott get out of his chair, you'll see that from time to time. He just had a look to see if there was any insight that he could give, and probably looked at it and thought, no, Matt's got this perfectly in hand, and sat back down. Nothing wrong with that. You can talk, even though it's in individual frames. He's doing it again.
The danger with this shot on the plant is, does the red trap on top of the yellow? He's got to stay clear of that.
Yeah, played at a beautiful pace to make sure.
Yeah, and he's played it in a way where he's left the natural angle to just roll the one into the bottom left and bounce the cue ball off the rail to leave a similar cut. And this is an example of how good Matt is in full flow. He's experienced, assured around the table, and he picks out good patterns. And there's not, the best players aren't as flary, and they just make the game look simple. And he's made this finish look routine.
Cue ball's barely done any mileage whatsoever, isn't it? Just rolled on to the next ball. A beautiful pattern and a break finish. Cookie Monster puts his partnership 2-0 up, and we are right at that 7-minute mark, and clock will keep going while the balls are being racked. That happens until the final 5 minutes, so we'll be around the 6:15 by the time we start. Very strong position to be in.
Yeah, and it's a great message to send your opponents as soon as they made that mistake and let them in on a frame they should have won. Follow it up with a break and clearance, and it's a long time sat in there when you're just going over the mistake, so it can then spiral through the night then.
Almost really important here for Gary Close to make a break clearance. He has to win the frame, you feel, to stay in the match, but a break clearance keeps it live. Keeps it really live, and it's an excellent break, but a tricky layout. Very tricky layout. Do you think yellows are an option if the yellow pops off the red that he's nearest to, top left corner, or off the red nearest the pocket?
Yeah, it's definitely the colour set to go for, but the first shot you've probably got to
play one along the top cushion bridging.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Or do you take the one that's just off the rail and clip it in and leave a thinner cut?
Yeah.
On the yellow to the bottom. But the other problem they've got to look at if they did want to attack is the yellow by the 8-ball.
I thought it made a ball. I just realised that it's actually a dry break. So it's Scott. I thought I heard balls flying in. It's Scott Yardley with the opportunity.
See, this is where I think as the more we do the Pairs Cup, players can sort of adjust their game to suit the format. They're 2-0 up. There's 5 minutes left. Is it a case of just tie the Reds up and rather than chase a tough finish?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the idea here from Scott is let's take yellows and then play the loss of turn, take control of the frame. But he's had to pot 2 balls to get here to do it. And he hasn't really tied anything up. These reds are wide open. You can make the case that not playing that loss of turn, 2-0 up with 5 to play, is a better position to be in than playing it.
Yeah, for me, I think I would have maybe just potted a yellow and then just played a yellow on top of a red and just said, off you go. Yeah,
match situation, match awareness. I agree with Scott's decision making if we're just playing a normal match, because if he gets the loss of turn right, he's progressing the frame to his advantage. But not in this situation where every second that ticks down is a benefit to him.
That's just a bit of a loose shot there. And Gary.
Yeah, needs to be on the bottom one really, and if he's not, he's caused himself an issue.
Maybe clip off the red and leave the cue ball behind the other one. Oh,
he was on it, so it actually wasn't that bad. Just rushed the shot. 15 seconds a shot can do that to you.
Yeah, I think that's an element of being 2-0 down as well. And it's a different format, and it does throw players' games out of sync.
And he missed it thick, so he could definitely see enough of it to pot it. So it wasn't anything to do with worrying about not being able to see enough. Just a poor miss.
This is fortunate if this yellow passes into the corner. And it's not a gimme finish, and there will be time after this frame to try and steal a draw, but he's played that well. But it's going to be all down to the 8 ball. But the blessing here is if they were to miss the 8 ball, it's over the pocket where the 2 reds would be going.
That last shot was played so well that he should give himself the perfect angle to punch right behind the 8 ball as well. He's got just enough angle here just to control himself onto it nicely.
He's having a glance up at the scoreboard. He's aware of the clock situation. And that's that little bit of experience when you've played in this format before.
Floats it in. 3-0, 2:28 left on the clock. That was very good from Scott Yardley, second time round. Missed opportunity for Gary Close there. You feel he had a great chance to get out with the safety shot that Scott played, and now you can't really see a way back in for them.
No, and for me, I think the mistake that he did was the obviously he's missed the pot, which has let him back in, but it was the shot before where he's potted and screwed the cue ball back. A lot of players are taught nowadays, if you don't try to avoid playing cannons and and just play short position.
Yeah, I'm with you, because of the way they were laid out. They didn't need to do anything with that ball. It wasn't a problem for them.
Can they get a golden 8 to round off the match? No, but what a split. I thought the yellows were all just going to open up over the middles and away you go.
Just that one yellow going up a bit awkward top right probably means they need to go reds. One shot to play on reds. That's just to get from the 4 in the open at the top to the 2 at the bottom.
Yeah, I think they're just going to play clock as well and just work out, use the full 15 if they can on each shot. It's like doing the victory lap. It is rare where you can be in this situation where you are doing a victory lap.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? That's only come in with Ultimate Pool. Timed matches allow you to be out there expressing yourself knowing you've won a match. Doesn't happen very often in the sort of history of the sport, if you like.
As you saw Gary there just looking at the clock as well. He just wants to get out of the arena. He's accepted defeat, and that's another thing. You're not enjoying sat in your chair watching your opponents.
They might get to the table here. Let's see, tough bit of queuing for Scott that he gets wrong. Well, they've got to run this out and then have a golden break and then have a golden duck. That's the task. They may not have enough time to run these out.
Just losing the cue ball a little bit, but I know they're about to lose the match, but it's important. It's so important to get that first frame on the board for the night.
Yeah, they'll play in the next match. So if they can run these out, ultimately it's not going to make the difference on the scoreline, but they'll feel better going into the start of match 2. And of course they have Team Blessed in the next match, so that's, on paper at least, the toughest match of the night.
They should get the 8-ball here to give themselves a glimmer.
They are going to leave 9 seconds on the clock. So we are very much talking about the golden break, golden duck. Very unlikely, but at least they've got a frame on the board. That was a bit better. They flowed a bit more there.
Yeah, but it's unlikely, but it's not possible. I've been the victim of it myself. A few years ago against Cole Sutton and Sean Chipperfield, it happened there. So it can be done.
Yeah, 9 seconds. Keep an eye on that. How quickly will the ball stop? Even if the 8-ball does go in, should still be fine time-wise. But the 8-ball is not tracking, so that will be the end of the match. It is Matt Cooke and Scott Yardley that take the opening win. Maybe not their finest performance, but they'll certainly take the positives and move on to match number 4. Plenty more can happen tonight. Stay with us. Join us after the break.